Today we are going to talk about how to write and solve proportions with story problems. So here we have our steps to set up and solve the proportion from a story problem. We're going to look at the steps inside our first example. Our first example says, Bridget is on a camping trip with her family. They see a totem pole at the ranger station. She wonders how tall it is. When Bridget stands next to the totem pole, she casts a shadow that is 4 feet long, while the totem pole casts a shadow that is 16 feet long. If Bridget is 5 feet tall, how tall would the totem pole be? So our first step is to write a proportion using the corresponding parts of the two objects in the problem, meaning the height of each object and the shadow of each object. So that's something that I would go and underline in the problem just to pull out some information that we want to know. So when we look up at the information given, we see that Bridget, she cast a shadow that is 4 feet long. The totem pole cast a shadow that's 16 feet long. And Bridget is 5 feet tall. It wants to know then, how tall would the totem pole be? So under step 1, I have the proportion already made out for you. What I want you to notice is at the top, we have height for both objects. And at the bottom, we have shadow of both objects. And then notice, in the left side, we have person. So the information about the person, the height, and the shadow. And on this side of the equal sign, we have the totem pole information. So we have to make sure that we're completely organized. And that's why I would label just like I did here. We have person, we have totem pole, then we know height and shadow. So when we go down here, I would still keep it the same. I would write person, so I know it's the person's information. I'd write totem pole down here. I would write height on top and shadow on bottom. Labeling helps you organize your information. So now that we have all that, step 2 says to substitute the known measurements into the proportion, meaning the information that we found up here, we're going to put in for our proportion. So the first thing is the height of the person. What is the height of Bridget? So we look back in the problem and see that Bridget is 5 feet tall. So that's where we're going to put the height of the person, 5 feet tall. Then we can look at the shadow of the person. It says she cast a shadow that is 4 foot long. Then the height of the totem pole, we don't know. That's what we're looking for. How tall will the totem pole be? And the shadow of the totem pole says is 16 feet. Now, that's just how we set up the proportion. If we were to solve, we can cross multiply and divide. Or if you notice that these fractions can be simplified, make sure we're simplifying up and down. We're not cross simplifying. If they're already at their most simplified term, then we can just do our cross multiplication and divide. So we cross multiply 16 times 5. Get 80. Then we're going to divide by 4, which would give us 20. So the height of the totem pole would be 20 feet tall. So here's our second example. Katie uses a copy machine to enlarge her rectangular design that is 6 inches wide and 8 inches long. The new width is 10 inches. What is the new length? So step 1 is to set up a proportion using the corresponding parts of the two objects. So we're going to put the words in there, not the actual numbers. So let's make our proportion. Okay, I always, in this top part right here, I want to put what we're looking for. So that's the new length. Okay, so new length. So that means I have the length is going to be on this side. So the width will be on this side. Now I have new on top. So that means the original will be on bottom. Notice I got all that information just because I placed one thing. Since the length is here, this side is the length. What's the opposite of the length is the width. So that'll be on this side of the equal sign. Now, the new is on the top, so I had to put the new on top over here, leaving only the original to be on the bottom. Now I can fill in the rest of my labels. So since I have length on the right side, and I have the new length on top, I can put the original length on bottom. And then since the width is on the left side, and I know new is on the top, I can put new width. And the original is on the bottom, so I can put original width. Now I have my labels. So now step 2, we're going to substitute what we know, meaning the numbers. So we're looking for the new length, so that's always going to be our x, what we're looking for. We can see up in the problem a few different things. The original length, 8 inches long. We have 6 inches wide. Those are originals. The new width is 10. So let's fill in the new width first. New width, 10 inches. The original width was 6 inches. And the original length was 8 inches. So if you need to help label just to organize your thoughts, make sure you do write width over here, length on this side, new and original. The more labeling you do, the better, I promise. It will definitely help you keep everything organized. Now, the last step is just to cross multiply and divide. So we do 8 times 10, cross multiply here. Just 80. Now we have to divide by 6. So we go top in, bottom out. 6 goes into 8 once, that's 6. Bring down our 0. 6 goes into 20 3 times, that's 18. So put our decimal point, our 0, bring down. 6 goes into 20 3 times. I see a pattern, so I can put repeating. 13.3 repeating inches.